Hobby quick hits. Delivering that breaking hobby news directly to your earlobes. You want to know those hot drops from the card shop? We've got you covered. With your host, John Newman.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 187 of Hobby Quick Hits. Wanted to get today's topic out a little sooner before the season actually started, but we're only one game in at the time of this recording. 2 games in. We got the Chiefs and Ravens game in the books, with the Chiefs winning an exciting close game, and the Eagles and Packers playing at the time of this recording. So only 2 games in the book, but I call this quarterbacks who gets the bags. And what I mean by that is it's going to be a little combo of sports and hobby. You know, we know the football hobby is a quarterback-driven hobby, like it or not. I know there are running backs and receivers and some defensive players that do sell, but it's like traditionally it's always been sort of a quarterback-driven hobby and league, too, for that matter, really. And so we're going to go around. We're not going to go through every quarterback, but we're going to go by division and talk about some of the quarterbacks and what do I think about them hobby-wise and give my sort of perspective. You know, are they a good buy? Is it long-term, short-term, avoid, that sort of kind of thing. And like I said, we'll talk about relevant quarterbacks. We're not going to talk about every single one. You know, we're not. No offense to Sam Darnold in Minnesota, but he's not, other than just right now, he's not going to come up again during this episode. So we're going to talk about hobby significant quarterbacks that move the hobby meter. So that's kind of what today's show is going to be about.
Okay, now a quick word from our great sponsor, followed by the new product release schedule. Then we'll go around the Hobbyverse to tell you all the latest hobby happenings and news. Then we'll tackle today's topic of discussion.
Hi, this is Pat Hughes, Cubs announcer, coming to you from the Sports Card Shop in beautiful New Buffalo, Michigan. The Gocher family has built an incredible place here for collectors to buy, sell, and trade cards and memorabilia. Be sure to stop by and let them show you around. TheSportsCardShop.com, connecting sports, athletes, the hobby, and collectors around the world.
Hi. This is Alan Pinkett, and I'm here to tell you the Gocher family has done it again. They've just opened up the Sport Card Shop in downtown Valparaiso, Indiana, and it is awesome. If you're a collector, you need to check this place out. Tell them Alan sent you and get a free gift on your first visit.
All right, folks, let's go over the next couple weeks of releases that are coming out for product. Again, disclaimer, right? All things subject to change and could be delayed due to printing and who knows what. But let's go over what they're scheduled for. Starting with September 11th, 2024, Bowman Chrome Baseball. 2024, Upper Deck All Elite Wrestling. 2023/24, Panini Spectra Basketball, and 2024 Panini Score Football. Moving to the 13th, 2024 Leaf Soccer Blasters will hit the market. Staying on the 13th, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Stellar Crown will be out in various formulations. In the 13th, 2023 Topps Motif Football. On the 18th, 2024 Panini Gold Standard Football. Also on the 18th, 2023-24, Panini Impeccable Basketball. 2024 Upper Deck Masterpieces Munster Edition. Staying on the 18th, 2024 Upper Deck Portfolio Golf. 2022/23, yeah, you heard that right. 22/23 Upper Deck the Cup Hockey. Upper Deck trying to catch up with their cup release, one of their most expensive hockey releases. Also on the 18th, 2024, Panini Select Racing. On the 20th, 2024, Leaf Electrum Football. 2023, Leaf Perfect Game Baseball Bonus Box. 2023, Leaf Trinity Baseball Mega. 2024, Panini Luminance Football. 2023-24, Topps UEFA Club Competitions Merlin Chrome Soccer. That's a mouthful. Also on the 20th, got a bunch of releases here, folks, so bear with me. 2023-24 Upper Deck SP Authentic Hockey and Yu-Gi-Oh! 25th Anniversary Dueling Mirrors Tin. And 2023 Panini Select Football H2. Panini trying to catch up with that product finally. We'll see if it rings true. And then last but not least, 2024 Topps Chrome Baseball Sapphire. So the 20th, a lot of releases the next 2 weeks, with the 20th and 13th being your two big days.
Let's go round the hobbyverse and catch up on this week's hobby news.
And find out. All right, folks, there were a couple more robberies in the hobby world at LCSs, and frankly, it's getting to be old news, so I'm not going to go into all the details, but I wanted to mention that it's for me as a former store owner and someone who loves the hobby, it's depressing to see these and report these. So I'm going to try to to really not do it anymore, and hopefully we see less. But wanted to definitely mention that. Some other news. August of 2024, last month, aka, was the most graded cards ever in hobby history. 1.8 million to be exact. I think we can factor in coming off the National in Cleveland, people acquiring cards there, and then now submitting them for grading. But 1.8 million cards submitted for grading in August, with Vic Wembanyama leading kind of that chart. C.J. Stroud as well, and others obviously at 1.8 million. Yeah, big sale, private sale through Golden. You might have heard about that Wilt Chamberlain SGC 10 rookie, Minnesota family that wants to remain anonymous, and I understand why. Brokered through Golden wasn't an auction; it was through private sale, and the final price, the buyer paid $1.7 million. No word on who the buyer is or potentially is at this point. So we'll see if that comes to light at all.
I'm out. And for that reason alone, I'm out.
Kevin O'Neill out as Leafs CEO. His own choice. He stepped down. He was not let go. Put a nice resignation letter out there saying that he enjoyed his time there, but wants to, seek other opportunities. Didn't really give specific reasons why. There's speculation with maybe a difference in philosophy. Some of the, the releases Leaf has put out recently, of some people would consider in poor taste. Again, that is speculation. Kevin himself did not allude to that.
Holy cow, I don't believe it!
Topps/Fanatics have a exclusive deal with Shohei Ohtani. Now, you might say they already have Shohei Ohtani memorabilia, autographs. They do have a deal already in place, but it was not exclusive, meaning Panini and other companies could make separate deals. This new deal is exclusive, and it locks up Ohtani just to Fanatics. So you will now not see Ohtani memorabilia and autos in any other product. And these products cover not just the United States, but also Japan. You're going to see some products marketed for Japan as well. In our last story, probably our least story, to be, blunt honest, Panini and Brander have a deal in place. Brander is an NIL marketing agency to lock up Texas, Ohio State, and Nebraska to Panini's new college brand licensing. So as Panini starts to lose their licensing here for the professional leagues, they're really going to be hot and heavy on the producing collegiate cards. And so this partnership with Brander is going to aid them and facilitate that to allow them to produce more of those cards.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right. I call this episode, Should They Get the Bag or Not? And this pertains to NFL quarterbacks and their place in the hobby and sports. We're going to kind of combine both elements because on-field performance obviously affects card values and pricing as well. So I'm going to encapsulate both of that. We're not going to name every starting quarterback in the NFL. There's some that are just not hobby significant. Some aren't even NFL significant. Maybe they're starting because of an injury to the first string quarterback. But we're going to go through the divisions here, talk about the quarterback real briefly, and whether they get the bag or not. Getting the bag for this show is going to mean I like them, like if you were to buy them or buy some cards of them, I think now would be a good time. And obviously they're not all going to fit that bill. But so let's go start with the AFC East, right? And let's go to Miami and with Tua. And he just got paid. He did get the real bag. They just paid him a multi-year deal, a lot of money. And he's, I think he gets criticized sometimes unfairly. When he's healthy, I guess that's the what if, right? But if healthy, like he puts up numbers and performs very well. People are always trying to replace him rather quickly. As far as cards-wise, if you're a Dolphins fan or a Tua fan, he's going to have a pretty solid career when all is said and done. But I'll kind of put him middle of the road. Let's go to Buffalo. A guy named Josh Allen. When we talk about the AFC, right, it's Patrick Mahomes' conference to sort of dominate. And unfortunately, if you're a quarterback in the AFC, that's who you have to knock off to get a ring. And it's not an easy task, as quarterbacks in the AFC are finding out. As a Steeler fan, I'm wondering if I'll live to see another Super Bowl win with my Steelers, with Patrick Mahomes, dominating in Kansas City. But Josh Allen's got to get that, playoff success, got to get to the Super Bowl. I think he's a very talented ball player and quarterback. A little hero ball there, likes to tuck it and run and try to get an extra few yards, and that's always a factor for a potential injury. But I like him, but I'm sort of middle tier too, kind of a hold on him too. And the last guy in the AFC East that I'm going to talk about is a veteran, and it's Aaron Rodgers with New York. And I know, he got hurt in preseason last year, didn't play, and he's set to make his Jets debut. And he's a wily old veteran who knows how to play football. And he's going to make them better if he's healthy. I don't think he's going to be lights out. I think his MVP winning days are definitely over. But I'm going to say, he's kind of a give him the bag hobby-wise, because he's a first ballot Hall of Famer with a Super Bowl ring and the numbers he's already put up. Even if he never played again in the NFL, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. All right, let's shoot over to the NFC East. I'm going to talk about 4 quarterbacks. Let's start with the big Dallas quarterback, Dak Prescott, right? Kind of like Josh Allen, good numbers, but can he win the big game? And that's always been the elephant in the room, and he really hasn't done it yet. Something tells me his days in Dallas may be numbered. He's due for another contract. I don't know if Jerry's going to back up the truck and give him the bag. I'm not giving him the bag. I think when all is said and done, and he's going to just be a very good NFL quarterback. Nothing wrong with that. He's going to make a lot of money. He's already made a lot of money. But hobby-wise, let's be honest, right? If he didn't play if he wasn't the starting Cowboys quarterback, we probably wouldn't talk about him as much, and he probably wouldn't get as much hobby love. And I think he gets some because of that. So I'm not going to say, he's a loser, but he's definitely kind of in that middle tier. Let's go to the Giants. They reached for this guy. I said it when they did it. I'm not backing off that statement now. They've given him some more weapons. I don't think it's going to make a whole lot of difference. Daniel Jones. I don't think he's the guy. I didn't think he was the guy then when they drafted him, like I said, and I just think he's a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. He's not a guy. To me, he's not a franchise quarterback. He's not a guy you build around. I think they saw another Eli Manning type with him, and he's not Eli Manning. And so I'm not buying Daniel Jones, and I don't think you should either. Let's go to Philly. Jalen Hurts. Kind of a quirky guy. He's capable of putting a team on his back and winning the game. And then I've watched games he's played in, and he can make me scratch my head too. And for that reason, I'm not huge on Jalen Hurts. I don't think I kind of see him sort of like Dak Prescott, he's going to have a pretty good career, but will he have hardware? Will he carry a team? I don't know. And we'll have to wait and see. But I'm not giving him the money bag just yet. And the last guy I want to talk on the NFC side is Jaden Daniels. Now he's a rookie, and so I'm not. I will say this: let's give him a money bag. And I know he hasn't done anything yet at the time of this recording. But I'm giving him a money bag because he's going to be under the radar with Caleb Williams in Chicago. And if you really believe in Jaden Daniels, and he has played fairly well in the preseason, might not be the worst buy. I think his cards are undervalued because, again, he's in the shadow of Caleb Williams in the same rookie draft. So if you really believe in Jaden Daniels, now is probably the time to buy his cards. Let's stay on the NFC side, but go to the NFC West. Let's go to Arizona and a guy named Kyler Murray. That's my thoughts on Kyler Murray. I just he's not consistent. He's up, he's down. Sometimes he's more down than he's up. Everything I read, he's not a student of the game. There was a year where he really was king of the NFL hobby on that really good season. I just don't see that consistently. I don't know if he can even return from that. He's had some injuries, and I don't even think he's in Arizona with the Cardinals much longer. So I'm out on no bag for Kyler Murray. Let's go to the Rams and Matt Stafford. Very good quarterback. I remember when he came out of Georgia. He's had a great NFL career. He's got a ring now. But hobby-wise, he's one of those under-the-radar guys. And I think, when all is said and done, you look at his career and it's much better than people will realize. But I don't know if I'm not giving him a bag because I just don't think he's going to get enough hobby love. Let's stay on that side and go to the Niners' young quarterback and Mr. Irrelevant, who's become not irrelevant but relevant, and that's Brock Purdy. Young guy and doing well, and unlike some of the veterans, right, has had them with some postseason success, and so I'm Super Bowl, and so I didn't believe in him, but at first, but he sort of proved me wrong. I'm going to give him some money bags, but with a caution here, right? That he's still young. He's not a proven veteran just yet, but I like the weapons he's got. I think he's a smart quarterback. He doesn't make a ton of mistakes, and I think value-wise with some of the new hype prospects and Stroud taking the lead and different like that, you might be able to pick up some nice bargains on Brock Purdy. All right, let's go back to the AFC and go to the West there. And let's start right at the top, right? The Kansas and Patrick Mahomes. I'm giving him the money bag. And you might say, John, how do you do that? His cards are already very expensive. He's already got 3 rings. What else could he do? Well, what else could he do? Win more MVPs and win more rings. I see at least 2 more Super Bowl rings before he hangs up his cleats, maybe 3. And if he gets those, like I think he will, one might even come this year. They're probably my pick to win the Super Bowl. He's going to have 5 or 6, potentially 7 Super Bowl rings. Who else do we know has that many, right? Guy named Tom Brady, might have heard of him. I think he's a better quarterback than Tom Brady. Like, talent-wise, he's a better quarterback than Tom Brady. He does stuff that Tom Brady can't do. So even though his cards are not cheap at this point because of the accolades he's already garnered, I still think based on his trajectory, you can buy some of his cards, even though they're expensive, and I think there's more ceiling to go there, as crazy as that might sound. So I'm giving him the money. Justin Herbert in the Chargers. And now, Jim Harbaugh's there, kind of a quarterback whisperer, if you will. I'm not giving Herbert the money bag, and I actually like Justin Herbert a lot. Sometimes I think he doesn't get enough credit. So, the Chargers have not put enough weapons around him, if you ask for my opinion there. I think he's a very good quarterback. It's put up or shut up time. They've got to start winning some games and having, at least make the postseason. I'm not even saying win a postseason. They've got to push the Chiefs and get past the Raiders and get into some postseason success. So I'm sort of middle ground with Herbert, although I do tend to have that upwards triangle with him, if you get the reference there. All right, Bo Nix in Denver. I'm not going to lie, did not love Bo Nix in college, but let's see what Sean Payton can do with him in Denver. So he's not getting a money bag just yet, but he's one to watch, and that's why he's making my list as far as discussion-wise here. Let's go to my favorite team's division, the AFC North. Let's start with them and kind of get my Steelers out of the way. They've cleaned house in that quarterback room, right? We got 2 new ones, and Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. It's better than last year because Kenny Pickett's terrible and is terrible and not our problem anymore. But how much better are they? Russell Wilson's probably a Hall of Famer unless his last few years in the league are really terrible, and that could be the case. But he probably has a Hall of Fame resume. Would I, pour money into some of his cards? Probably not. He was the darling at the end of the NFL at one time, and that bloom is off the rose there. Justin Fields. I'm going to give Justin Fields a money bag here, and I'm going to tell you why. I think he got a raw deal in Chicago. I didn't think he got a fair shake. They obviously lucked into the Caleb Williams, lottery and won it. So they're going to pick him, and then they basically gave up Justin Fields for a 6-pack of beer to my Steelers, and that's a great deal. It's worth a flyer, right? He's going to get an opportunity in Pittsburgh, regardless of Russell Wilson there. He's going to get some starts, and I think he has more weapons and a better surrounding cast and coaching staff. So this is, if you believe that the change of scenery, the more weaponry and the better coaching is going to make Justin Fields a success, now's the time to buy his stuff because it's really at the rock bottom of probably, unless he really tanks in Pittsburgh, then there's probably even a lower ceiling. But not a bad time if you think he's legit. Let's go to Cleveland and Deshaun Watson. Yeah, remember when Deshaun Watson was kind of one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL? and then something happened, got in a little trouble, and he's been really a bust since he got to Cleveland. This is his third year. He's missed the season. The season he played was brutal, and he's running out of time. Like, he's almost an afterthought as far as elite quarterbacks go. And so, Cleveland's got pieces in place. They acquired Jerry Jeudy. They got Amari Cooper there now. He's got no excuses. He's got to get it done. They got the best defenses in the NFL. Most people would have them ranked number one. I could make an argument, but this is not the show for that. So there's no more excuses for Deshaun Watson. He's got to stay healthy, and he's got to produce. And I don't think he can, and that's why he got the loser soundbite there that you heard. All right, let's go to a guy that I hate to admit that I like. Because he plays on a division rival, but that's Joe Burrow. Giving him a money bag. I know he's coming off a serious injury where he missed most of the season. It's not his first injury. I get all the concerns, but this is a guy that's had the Bengals in 2 Super Bowls and close on others. And when he is an elite quarterback, and I liked him coming out of college. I was disappointed when the Bengals got him because I knew he'd be playing my Steelers twice a year, but I am a big Joe Burrow fan, as much as that pains to say. And I think he's going to have future success. And coming off the injury, his cards right now are at a lower ceiling, a lower level to maybe get in and pick some up and kind of sit on them and wait. So I'm giving Joe Burrow. He's a franchise quarterback. I'm giving him the money back. So let's go to the NFC North now, and let's start with the big prospect rookie who hasn't done anything yet, Caleb Williams from the Bears. I'm not giving him a money bag. I know that sounds crazy. You might be saying Justin Fields gets a money bag, Caleb Williams doesn't, because he's talented, but he's got a new rebuilt offense there, so that's going for him. I don't know if I'm buying into the coaching staff that they have there to bode success. Borderline cocky, that doesn't mean you're not good. You can back it up, right? So I'm sort of a wait and see. And one of the reasons I'm a wait and see is, frankly, his cards are at a very high level, and he hasn't done anything yet. So I can't give him the money bags just yet. Let's go to Detroit. Jared Goff, right, has kind of rebuilt his second career in Detroit. Was kind of took a heavy blame when he was with the Rams for some of their lack of success. But I think he's shown he's a very, very good NFL quarterback that can lead a team in the postseason. And the Lions were very close to being that Super Bowl team last year instead of San Francisco. And we can, and I love Dan Campbell, but we can say there was some questionable coaching there. And so Jared Goff I kind of look at him sort of like Matt Stafford, the guy he was traded for. When their careers are done, we're going to be surprised by the stats they put up, and they're probably both Hall of Fame. But hobby-wise, they don't get a lot of love. So I'm not going to give a money bag to Jared Goff, but, look at his numbers, and I think you'll be surprised at how good he actually is. Let's go to the other guy I want to talk about in the NFC North. He just got a real money bag. I'm going to give him this show's money bag. Jordan Love in Green Bay. I really wasn't sure about him, and then I watched some games last year, and I really was impressed. And I don't think he's got great receivers, and yet he was very productive. I think he's learned the game from watching and being an understudy, and now he's ready to lead the team and be the next guy after Aaron Rodgers. We're wondering if he was going to be. I think he is. And yes, his cards have steadily increased, but I think there's room for improvement. You got to remember, right now the NFC is a conference where you don't have to beat Patrick Mahomes to be in the Super Bowl, and I think that that's a factor when it comes to the hobby and values and hobby love and that sort of thing. So I give Jordan. Speaking of hobby love, I'm going to give Jordan Love some love. I miss the guy in the AFC North, and I want to go back and talk about him. Lamar Jackson with the Baltimore Ravens, very talented. No one can argue the talent, much like some of the other quarterbacks we've talked about already on the show. Can he win the big one? Can he get over that hump? And that's what he's got to do. So, I'm not going to give him a full money bag, but he's not. He's a very good player. He's elite. But he's got to get that postseason success, that monkey off his back, if you will, which is kind of what. But again, man, when you play in that AFC and you got to get past Patrick Mahomes, that's a very difficult task. Let's go back to the NFC and go to the South. Let's start with Atlanta and talk about veteran quarterbacks, right? Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, again, like Matthew Stafford, like Jared Goff, doesn't get a ton of hobby love, but and again, another postseason kind of victim of the postseason. But when you look at his numbers, he is a very, very, very good standout. I'm going to give him a money bag, and here's why. Some of his rookies, like his Topps Chromes and others, way too undervalued, almost criminal. So I think he's a good buy. I'm not saying it Super Bowl, but I think he does get some hobby love. There are people who, and do, as a dealer who's at shows, I do have people that sort of see to ask for him from time to time. All right, let's go to Carolina. This guy's got to get it done, or he's going to be on the outside. Look, a young guy. I know he's in just his third year here. It's Bryce Young, and got a new coach, got some more weapons. It's time to get it done. If it doesn't happen for him now, he's going to be, Carolina's probably going to be on looking for the next guy, as crazy as that might. You don't have as much time in the NFL as you used to as a quarterback to produce before a team moves on. And so, right now I'm just say, I'm not going to give him the loser horn, but I will say this. If you believe in Bryce Young, no better time to buy him than now. But that's a risky proposition because you just don't know if it's going to happen for that young. Let's go to Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay, sort of having a second coming there. He's not going to get a money bag or a loser, but, he too is putting together a new career there after having some success in Cleveland, and then they've moved on from him when they went on Watson. He's actually outperformed Deshaun Watson. So keep your eye on him. It's not a guy that gets a lot of hobby love, but does sort of produce, so I figured he was worth a mention. Let's go to back to the AFC and finish up with the AFC South, and let's start with probably one of the best quarterbacks, C.J. Stroud. I wasn't sure of this guy coming out of the draft. I knew he had the talent, but he's done it in Houston. He's a guy I think you can build around, which is doing. Watching him, he surprised me with his poise and accuracy, and he's got some new weapons there and others. So I believe in C.J. Stroud. I think the Texans, could make a run at the Chiefs. If not this year, they might be the biggest threat in the coming. And I know his stuff's not cheap, but I think, now's the time to get in on him. If you believe in Stroud, as I do, now's not a bad time to get in on him before he maybe starts adding the hardware in terms of. Let's stay in the AFC South with the Colts and Anthony Richardson. And I'm not saying Anthony Richardson is bad, but I also don't believe franchise guy long term. He's more of a running quarterback, but unlike Lamar, I don't think he's as accurate as Lamar. He's sort of a poor man's Lamar Jackson. His stuff has hit a pretty high ceiling, and so he's not a guy that I'm going to buy a bunch of his stuff. So I know that bell was sort of harsh. I know Colts fans are probably swearing under their breath or not under their breath at. I'm not saying he's terrible or he's bad. I don't think his talent matches sort of the hype that goes along with him. All right, the last guy we're going to talk about today's episode, Jackson and Trevor Lawrence. I know he had a bad year under Urban Meyer, and a lot of people saying, hey, like Tim Tebow, great college quarterback, to translate to the next level. And even under that year under Urban, when he struggled, I told my son, I remember Troy Aikman had a terrible rookie. This guy's too talented to be this bad. He's got Doug Peterson there, and he's had a revival. He's learning him, and I don't think his stride yet. He's already made huge strides from that bad year. I'm a believer in Trevor Lawrence. I believe he's an elite quarterback. he's getting a money bag. As crazy as that might be, some. Again, the problem with playing in the AFC, Patrick preventing others from getting. That's what I think is Trevor Lawrence's problem. It's going to be very difficult in Jackson to get rings with Patrick Mahomes, the AFC. So, but I think when all is said and done, Trevor Lawrence is an elite quarterback. Whether he wins a ring or not, there's another elite quarterback. I guess I'll make the comparison, not in playing level necessarily, but Dan Marino, right? Never won a real question. Trevor Lawrence, when all the smoke clears and the dust settles, he's going to be elite. Whether he has a Super Bowl ring to show for it remains to be seen. It'll be more difficult unless he goes to the NFC, changes scenery. But he's the franchise quarterback the Jacksons thought they got one. And again, being overshadowed, he's not a bad buy. I know I've picked some. I'm putting my money in my mouth. All right, so that's going to wrap up this episode of Hobby Quick Hits, quarterback money bags, if you will. And, we talked about 20 there. Hey, give me some feedback. Where did I miss the boat? Where was I spot on? If I was, where do you disagree? I'm thick-skinned. I can take it. That's how. Just curious what you. And did I miss anyone? I didn't talk about certain guys that are just sort of starters, but they don't really. Baker Mayfield really was almost borderline with mentioned. So let me know what you think. Fairly accurate, not accurate. Give me the streets. So. Thanks, everybody. It was time. All right. Thank you for listening to another episode of Hobby Quick Hits. Want to give out our social media, starting with our website, which is www.sportscardnationpodcast.com. Facebook, you can follow us at www.facebook.com/sportscardnationpodcast/ Twitter, we are at sportscard NATI1, so it's Sports Card NATI1. Instagram at Sports Card Nation Podcast, or you can email the show hobbyquickhits@gmail.com. Again, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.